Hey everybody, this is Mike. We are back again because I lied. 2 more videos. Or maybe I'll squeeze these 2 together. I had mentioned in the first video in this series, I believe, that the side of the pen, a part of the side of the pen reminded me of a planet, and I was going to make a small planet. I had mentioned in one of the videos I was going to try making a little sphere out of one of these and see how it turns out. But I'm not going to do that. I had a couple of brainstorms, but I need to cut these. As I said in the last video, wow, please hold. You ever just have too many hobbies, so your cables from all of your different tools get mixed up or wrapped up? Funny story of this pair of pliers. It's what I'm using right now because like 4 years ago, I lost my wrench. And I was on Discord with my 2 closest friends, complaining that I lost my wrench and that I would never be able to use this particular rotary tool again until I bought a new one. And I mean, it was a good hour I was ranting back and forth with them until one of them said, "Don't you have any other wrenches that would fit?" And it was the first time in my life that I ever realized that anything that would fit on here can be used to change the bit. So I was like 46 years old, 47 maybe, when I learned that you don't actually need the wrench that comes with this. Still haven't found the wrench. Probably left it somewhere. Like, not at my house. So I'm going to try using one of these fake diamond bits. While I'm working on this, I'm going to shut up and I will fast forward the video. And if the sound, when I'm editing, is too annoying, I will get rid of the sound or just make it really quiet and add some ambient tracks that I purchased from a Humble Bundle several years ago and never did anything with. So I've got it on speed 3. This particular unit goes up to 6. Oh, max. I start with 3. Chicago Electric Harbor Freight unit. You don't have to Dremel it. I'm sure a scroll saw would work, but as I mentioned in the last video about the coping saw, shape of the blade, number of teeth, size of teeth matter because even though it's hard, it's still paper. And I have some coming apart at the seams here, so I'm going to have to be very careful. So away I go. I'm switching over to, I'm not even sure what it's called, but it's a little tiny ball with blades on it, which I have had good success, not cutting wood, but, you know, making embossing, detailing in wood. And hopefully it will cut through it a little bit faster. I almost feel like I could have did this quicker with the coping saw. I wonder, where are my... That didn't work. I said, where are my controls? That's exposure. That's horrible. What, I can't change my... Okay, I guess I can't turn my light on. Can I do this? Now, what am I going to do with a piece like this? A piece this small? Again, bear with me, and I'll probably speed up this part too. Using a file. One thing to note about the Chicago Cutlery rotary tool, I don't know if it's a design flaw or what, but it gets insanely hot, almost to the point where you don't want to touch it. Actually, it does get to the point where you don't want to touch it. And it seems to take forever to cool down. I think I've worn out my welcome on that particular diamond, fake diamond bit. Pretty sure I have some other bits that would get the job done better and faster. There we go. Now we're starting to see some magic here. Yes, I wanted those holes. But one nice thing with dremeling and filing is you don't really need to sand as much. You actually start getting that smooth, clean quality. That's why when I was working on pen blanks, I knew pretty early on, as I was shaping it, that the edges were going to, that the pattern was going to come through. I have a wood carving knife that I got ordered from Sweden, I think. Mora Knives. And again, not going to use it on YouTube because I think there's rules about knives and knife blades and things like that. But until it got dull really fast, cutting through paper, I was using that to shape the pen blanks. And that thing cuts. I mean, when it cuts wood, the wood looks wet because it's such a smooth cut. And when it cuts through Stratacite, it's so smooth that you could see the grain immediately. I don't know if you can see that. That's pretty cool. I'm going to have to figure out a better way to cut this stuff. Know what I'm saying? Or you can when you make your own billet. Okay, hang on. That one's dull. Would a stone one look? Like a grinding wheel, kind of? You know what? Let's try this. I know a sanding one would work, but my sanding drums are also not around. Those little rubber drums that you put the sanding disc things on. Just trying to speed this up. This video is already 21 minutes long, and we didn't even get anywhere yet. I may just delete my talking and fast forward this entire section. All right, we're going to call that close enough. That for demonstration purposes, because everybody must be thinking, can't say everybody's thinking because nobody's seen this yet. Everybody must be thinking, really, what can we do with this? Well, I had this brainstorm, and just as an example, no, we're not doing this the right way, but you've all seen these on the TikTokies and the Reels. I'm going to drop this. Wow, that got dusty. In my D6 area. This is a cheap, nasty one that I got from, I believe, Temu. Before we do that, I'll show you what that grinding wheel did. And I'm sure you saw as I was grinding, when I got back here to the fold, I started dismantling all the layers. Wow, my eyes are going buggy. Is that? But I mean, if someone was careful enough and already had some kind of, not polymer, lacquer holding it together, you could very easily cut a gemstone out of this, like a gemstone shape. So this, really cheap, really flimsy. This, you don't want to make dice out of this. But for the purposes of this experiment, and not waiting for regular resin to, oh, you know what I should have did? That way I don't have air bubbles down there. For the purposes of this demonstration, we're going to use this. Looks like I'm going to have a high spot right there because I didn't make it small enough to go in the die. Oh, look, an air bubble. Oh, look, the air bubble popped. Oh, look, another air bubble. Oh, air bubbles inside the paper, I'll bet. That's very interesting. Is it starting to unpeel inside there? Great. Something pokey. This way comes. Wait, don't I have one of those? Oh, you probably can't use a lighter on YouTube either. Stay in there. Okay, now, again, also, and because, to speed this process up, I'm going to step away for a minute. Uh-oh. Still have air bubbles. What do you think? Should I throw some more resin in there? Alright, it's for demonstration purposes. I am not a die maker. I'm not a pen maker. I'm going to throw this in my Anycubic Wash and Cure 3 that I got with my resin printer, because it is a resin curing station, UV lights, yada yada. Put the little snake lamp thing on it. Turn my little snake lamp thing on and set it for 8 minutes. probably way too long, but while that's doing that, all right, I'm going to speed this up again because I have another something. I'm going to go off camera and cut this with a knife. I'm going to pause and cut this with a knife. Yay! It only took me about 3 minutes to get through with an X-Acto knife. Look at that cut. Now, as much as I hate to do this because it was sharp, I'm going to fast forward and use this thing again. Did I say sharp? I meant hot. It was very hot.
Well, that went for a sail.
Ew. Wonder if that's why it was getting so hot. Well, that went underneath and behind my workbench. So it is now gone. But if you heard that beep, that's my cure station. Let's see what happened. Hang on. Yay, look what I found. Okay, we'll come back to that. Come back to that. Look, I found some more bits. Oh, lots of bubbles. But what does it look like? That's pretty cool. Even with the bubbles and the fact that it's cheesy imported UV resin. I mean, there's a little, if you made little spheres out of this and put them inside dice, like little planets, different colored ones, I might have to actually see if I have any real resin left and try something. Look at that. Ooh. Where's the best side here? Right here. We could do a thumbnail. Ooh. Okay. Going back to... Oh. since I'm not sure what's happening with this bit, but I'm sure that it getting filled with the stuff is bad for it, we're going to upsize the fake diamond, real diamond, I don't know, the diamond dust. And I'm going to try to finish this real quick. Okay, now everyone was wondering, what am I supposed to be doing with this? Well, again, just as a quick example, not planning ahead, not measuring, not deciding that I'm going to make a whole series of these diamond dust round. So you can put Stratacite inside a die and it looks pretty cool. Notice just with dremeling, filing, and sanding, I already have that shine. That's not really shiny, but if I sand too much of that because it's the outside of a curve, I'm going to lose most of my layers. If somebody lacquered this already, they could sand this entire thing and get it super shiny. Now, what am I doing with this? Obviously, if somebody plans ahead, they could do this better, lacquer it first. I'm just showing, experimenting, detailing how this stuff can be worked. Before you do any of that. Liquitex, iridescent bright gold, acrylic ink. Wow, that's a crappy job. Oh, it's a crappy brush. Because it's just an example. And because most of the metal came apart while I was sanding. Because I didn't pre-treat it. So if somebody wanted to make a billet and cut a bunch of these pieces, lacquer them and seal them like I did the pen, you would have rock hard little wood grained but multicolored, possibly recycled, depending on what kind of paper you used, rune stones, rune boards, rune Straticites. I am so going to fast forward a bunch of this video. We are at 47 minutes. One more video to go where I do the Q&A without having any cues. Give you guys some pointers that I picked up along the way. Stuff that I think is important for you to know, for you to make your own Stratacite. Thanks for watching. Hope you learned something. Thanks for listening. Have a happy